All right, 2 days in a row, we're back. I finished goofing around with the new Apple stuff today. Actually, I was reading news stories on the new iMac. I kind of like that display. Almost 5K in 24 inches. There's some pixel density over there. I don't know about you.
Sure is.
Every so often, I don't mind such a thing. Every so often. So I got the blue one. The video's not out yet. It's going to come out on Unbox Therapy. I mean, there's work to be done. Edited together. It was actually kind of comprehensive. It's kind of like a mega unboxing video. It had the iPad and the iMac. And there was a lot in there. What else did I have? The keyboard case. So I had the new Apple TV as well. I mean, it's too many things.
Purple iPhones?
Purple iPhones. Which I hadn't even looked at that purple tone yet. It's quite a purple to it.
It's nice.
Anyway, we got some news here. Apple looking for a manager with experience in cryptocurrency. You're used to seeing that name, Elon Musk associated, Tesla associated cryptocurrency. There's another big company in town. They sell tech products. The logo is a piece of fruit. One of my favorites, actually. The fruit.
Yeah? Which one? The Jazz Apple?
No, it ain't no Jazz. I mean, usually it's just a Honey Crisp or something like that. Okay. I know it's a cop-out, but actually I like most apples except for Red Delicious. It's a bit of a scam. You hovered over the word scam, so I said scam. It's just not, it doesn't taste what it sounds like, the Red Delicious, but people can have their own debate in the comment section right now. I'm sure I just inflamed somebody. Somebody got some inflammation now because of what I said about Red Delicious. But that's the way it goes. It's the internet. We're on the internet. There are people here. There are noises. There are voices. Yeah. And certainly opinions. Most definitely. Anyway, how about Apple getting themselves associated with crypto? Now, I never thought I'd see Apple in the first place get involved with that Apple Card. Goldman Sachs sign on the dotted line. I never knew that was going to take place, that they wanted to be in that business. Lending money, loaning money, payment plans, and so forth. Fancy card, Apple Card.
Finance. I
just didn't imagine it, but then they went there. And of course, you got the digital payments in the form of Apple Pay, one of the most popular digital payment formats that exists out there. So then you start to scratch your head right in the temple region over here. And you say to yourself, well, could they do it? Could they bridge that gap? Could they look at digital currencies, alternative payment methods? Could they look at cryptocurrency? And if they did look at cryptocurrency, do they need to look at what's already there? Now, by the way, this report stems from a job listing which was noticed by, well, this is on Mac Rumors, but I believe it was the team over at CoinDesk. Willie do frequents that website. They noticed this job posting. Apple Wallet Payments and Commerce team is seeking an experienced business development manager to lead alternative payments partnerships. We're looking for a proven professional in global alternative and emerging payment solutions. You see that word emerging? You know what that means? Digital, crypto, emerging.
So do you see Apple Coin?
Yeah, so that's the joke. That's what you see coming up in the comment section. It's a big commitment, big time. Because, you sort of push your chips into the table. You push your coins into the table. You say, we're committed over here. That said, a lot of Apple Pay out there. I mean, you see what they did with AirTags. They tap it into Find My, and then they say, oh, yeah, by the way, there's already 1 billion devices using it. They got so many iPhones, iOS devices out there. You imagine they just slip the crypto into the Apple Wallet, into Apple Pay, and just offer you some sort of easy transition between the two.
Sure.
Whether it's pre-existing crypto or their own equivalent. They could even tap in with like some sort of reward structure. Oh, you bought another Apple device. Look at that. You got kickback. You got Apple points or some sort of small fragment of Apple coin building up like how Starbucks does when you go and buy the Starbucks. Yeah. And next thing, like, do you want to use your gold stars for this purchase? Because we can apply 250 gold stars for that fancy latte, sir. And then you say to yourself, yeah, go ahead, use the stars. I don't know. I love it. Actually, Starbucks, one of the biggest payment processors themselves because of how early they got involved with their Starbucks app in order to pay for things. So it's not so crazy. Some sort of, you pitch it as some sort of loyalty thing, but then it has some sort of crypto back end, some sort of blockchain element
Yes.
on the back end. I don't know. Well, it's possible, man.
It's possible. Now's the time to do it, I would think. There's so many coins out there.
I will tell you, there is an element of it, though, which feels a little bit not Apple-ish. Like crypto feels a little bit dirty right now. I feel a little bit Wild West still to it, you know?
The coins, yes. But blockchain.
No.
Rock
I'm
solid.
saying just public perception. I'm not saying, you know me, man. Yeah. Me and Vitalik, we go way back.
Yeah, back in those days.
So, yeah,
2009.
no, I don't mind that. I'm not even saying it in a disparaging way. I'm just talking about public perception. I was watching the playoff hockey last night, and there was an ad on TV for crypto. It was like I don't remember what type of. It was an exchange for Canadian crypto buyers. They're like, "You're not into crypto yet," and I was like, no. It's like, oh no, man, they're advertising
Like mass market
on NHL, and it still just has a little bit of a underbelly to it. You know, it hasn't shed that piece completely yet. And so that's one area where I say, okay, Apple is this squeaky clean, come into our store where everything is white and wood. And we have, you know what I'm saying, Will?
Yes.
And you can buy an iMac in 17 different colors, all of them perfect. We only picked perfect colors. All of our employees, perfect. We only hire perfect people. Our headquarters, immaculate. It's perfect. We built it. All the other headquarters, problems. We decided to build a perfect one. Just like our perfect products and our perfect phone. Our perfect logo, our perfect CEO, our perfect customer, which could be you if you just open up Apple Pay real quick.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying it's that attachment. But you could have said the same thing around Goldman Sachs. They got a history. You could have said the same thing around financial services in general. That was available to you if you wanted to criticize when they did that. You may not have expected it. They went there. So it's not impossible. I don't think it's happening anytime soon, but they are at least hiring for the position. We'll see how that works out. Today's sponsor is MeUndies. And you know what? It's the right time of year for MeUndies. I'll tell you what. Because at least over here, I mean, I don't know where you are in the world. Maybe it's hot all the time where you are in the world. But for me, right now, in the country of Canada, the region of Toronto, it's starting to heat up out there. And all of a sudden, I'm looking at the air conditioner like, is this working right now? You know what I mean? When I get home, because you know it's frigid over here. I stay in the ice box.
Yes.
It's like a cryo chamber. I'm trying to get the extended lifespan. Sometimes people complain about it. Vin wears a jacket. Mo's on the other side of the studio, and he's cranking the heat in his section.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the longevity going over here. Wim Hof style.
There you go.
You know about Wim Hof?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We do cold with the cold water. And did I throw you off with that one there?
Well, all I can think about is his frozen eyeballs when he tried to swim underwater.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He froze his eyeballs.
Wild stories.
Anyways.
So he's like me. He's trying to stay cool. And I think a lot of people in the summer are going to be trying to stay cool. And actually, you can become more environmentally friendly, turn down the AC a little bit, because you can throw the MeUndies on and stay cooler because you know they got all the fancy materials in use. Well, they're actually not fancy. They're natural, but they're like the best of the natural with the modal in there.
Breathability.
It's breathability to it. Summer is coming, and so for many of us, it's a season of discomfort. It's hot out. You could just sit around in your if you could sit around in your underwear, you would. You see, this could be the summer of comfort. If you want to sit around in your underwear, that's completely allowed. I don't know if you knew that, Will. You could even purchase a thong if you need to.
Too?
Yeah, it's possible.
Oh, okay.
Get comfortable and express yourself this summer with undies in classic and bold colors and fun, adventurous prints. I actually saw on the front of the webpage, it looks like they have swimwear too.
They do, yeah.
So I never noticed that before. So you can get the bathing suit going also.
Seems brand new.
Crazy. They got all kinds of styles and sizes, extra small to 4XL, sustainably soft micro modal, and ultralight breathe fabric. So the breathe one's what I'm talking about over there. if you get hot like me. But you have choices actually. They have different versions available. These are the swim trunks. Wow, look at that. You get the 6-inch or the 8-inch. You decide how short you need it to be, Will.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff. Anyway, you get a deal right now. MeUndies has a great offer. If you're a first-time purchaser, you get 15% off and free shipping. They have a problem-free philosophy. If you're not satisfied with any product for any reason, they'll refund or exchange it. That's good to know. So to get your 15% off your first order and free shipping, go to MeUndies.com/LouLater. That's MeUndies.com/LouLater. You can also click the link in the description. Just don't forget the /LouLater. That'll give you the 15% off your first order and free shipping. I have a drawer full of MeUndies. I love them. They're incredibly soft. You will love them too. This one caught me off guard. This just happened. I guess it was, I don't know, a couple hours ago. OnePlus co-founder's Twitter account hacked in ICO scam. This is actually a person, somebody that I know personally, Carl from previously OnePlus, now his new project, Nothing, which is preparing to launch very soon, had his Twitter account compromised. He claims it was due to an integration with an external app, IFTTT. This is like where you could set up if this then that situations, like if a tweet occurs here, I get notified elsewhere, or you're familiar with this, right?
If then statements,
yeah,
commands.
You didn't know about this? This was hot.
No.
This was like hot, I don't know, a couple years back, where people, I remember there was, for example, like a little device you could put in your mailbox, and then you could integrate if this then that, and then when some envelope will be placed on top of it, you would get a notification.
Oh yeah, using like
You have
Raspberry
mail.
Pi or something.
Yeah, something like a little switch or.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Anyway, it just interacts. It allows for multiple different interactions between your various. Well, it could be social media, payment platforms. I mean, it's really comprehensive. Anyway, apparently it was this integration that was compromised on his behalf. I don't know how he was using IFTTT himself, but he says that was compromised, and then that allowed the individuals to tweet on his behalf via that integration. And of course, what these individuals did is they tweeted out a crypto scam, because that's what you do when you got any account with followers and it's compromised. You quickly tweet the crypto scam, because it's so many crypto scams these days.
Of course, and it works.
Man, I see it even on our accounts, and I'm just going to put the disclaimer one more time over here. Don't send money to people who don't need your money. If he was going to do a promo, he's not going to ask you for the money. If I'm going to do a promo, I'm not going to ask you for the money. Elon's not asking you for money, ever, in order to send you crypto back or whatever else, unless it's on Tesla's website. Then every time you see this stuff, steer clear, get away from it. Anyway, this is what the tweet said. My company, Nothing, is excited to announce its first project in the cryptocurrency space, Nothing Coin, built on the ETH ERC20 chain, ICO price point 0002. Send your ETH to our contract address. Coins will be distributed soon. Oh, painful. And so I'm sure some people did this. I don't know. It actually doesn't look like it got too hot before he noticed. He then went into the account and deleted all third-party apps that were connected to his Twitter. Even beyond. And for the record, I don't think that this particular platform, IFTTT, is responsible for the thing. Like, he got hacked somehow, and it just happened to be through there. Someone knew his password. I don't know what happened. But that just so happens to be, like, every so often you may want to check those integrations. Because like you may have connected old things to Twitter. I did this recently. I disconnected a bunch of stuff that had been connected in the past.
Oh yeah,
because they create opportunities for compromise. I don't know if you remember the other big crypto one a while ago, where it was like Barack Obama, Bezos, Kanye West. It was all at once. Remember that?
Yes.
It was at Twitter.
Yep.
It was much bigger. Apparently 100,000 was siphoned from that one. I don't think this one got that big, but just please, with the crypto scams, anybody who watches this, just don't send money to anybody.
Yeah.
Any crypto addresses with promises of things coming in return, please. USB-C is about to go from 100 watts to 240 watts. What a time to be alive. this is big news in the community because all these high-powered laptops, all the RTX stuff, all the gaming laptops, they got these beefy power bricks. You got to have it, right? You run that baby at full tilt. And as it sits right now, you got to go with some sort of barrel connector or some sort of proprietary connector to deliver that power. Well, that's annoying. I mean, don't you want even those beefy, powerful laptops to live in the land of the thin and light world like these? You plug in any Type-C. I got Type-C sitting around my house.
Yep.
The kids got laptops. I got a laptop. Maybe it's an iPad. Maybe it's a phone. Type-C. Type-C life.
Oh, this is great. This is a great upgrade.
And so it's a new spec, USB-C 2.1 spec, more than doubles the output of the all-in-one cable. I just love to see this kind of thing. Just take the thing that's working, the universal connector, universal, USB, and just supply some more juice to it. So I'm already thinking about all the gaming laptops that pop up over here and when we might see a thing. But it will have to be labeled differently. So a lot of power coming through there. All EPR cables, that's the new spec, shall be visibly identified with EPR cable identification items. And you can see a couple of pictures here of like damage to USB-C connectors used improperly over here. Arcing damage during cable withdrawal when the connector is unplugged. If the voltage differential across the gap between the plug and receptacle contacts is greater than 12 volts. Like, I mean, this is complicated stuff. It's above the pay grade over here. But up to 240 watts is nice. It's not happening immediately, but it could be a true one charger to rule them all. Because once you get to 240 watts, let's say you're charging your game laptop, I mean, what can't you do at that point? You're all covered. You're all set.
Yeah.
Try to contain your excitement, Will.
Well, I have a question. I'm trying to... Can you do other stuff with the Type-C while it's charging?
Go ahead. What do you mean by that?
Like, is it like a dongle situation? Can you plug into the dongle, like the 230 watt or 240 watt, and that would charge it? But can you put like other cables into the dongle, and that would work as well? Like, is it versatile enough where it can house other power?
So you're looking for
devices?
a 240 watt USB-C charger, which comes with your gaming laptop, but it also has extra USB ports on it for charging other devices.
Yeah. Is that possible?
You know what?
Or is that just just meant for charging?
You know what, Will?
What?
We're going to make that possible for you.
Okay.
As of today.
Yeah, can we just do that?
Yeah, we're just going to do it. We're just going to talk to the manufacturers and make sure that it happens. I don't imagine them shipping such a thing. I have seen it.
Yeah.
Where did I see it? I see it. I think Microsoft with the Surface products did exactly that.
Yeah.
With their proprietary charger, which had extra USBs on the power brick. It seems feasible to me.
Right.
I'm just going to put that out there. I'm going to try to make that happen for you, Will.
All right.
WhatsApp sues Indian government over new privacy rules. We talked about these privacy rules on the previous show. This was the Indian government basically saying, we got new rules. You got to let us know if there's like a criminal investigation of some kind, if something terrible happens, we want access. We want to know from you the identity of the individual who sent the original message. We want that degree of control in these extreme circumstances. Now, the threat was if you don't accept the new terms, then we could potentially ban you. I don't think any of that has happened as of now. These are huge platforms that people rely on in India. WhatsApp being the biggest of the bunch, even still after the privacy fallout, whatever that was. WhatsApp sitting there saying, look, we can't do this. The case asked that the Delhi High Court to declare that one of the new IT rules is a violation of privacy rights in India's constitution since it requires social media companies to identify the first originator of information when authorities demand it. All right, that's the conflict. WhatsApp is suing the Indian government with that particular complaint, saying the citizen deserves the privacy, and if we were, even in these individual cases, to have the technology necessary to uncover the original sender, then we would essentially be breaking our end-to-end encryption, which is the
Yes.
thing that we promised to our customer.
Similar to what Apple did, right? With the backdoor FBI situation.
They
the iPhone.
they had their own whole version of that going on,
It's very similar, it seems like.
where it's like, hey, our customer's privacy is of utmost importance to us, and if we were to build in some way of intercepting or breaking our own encryption, then the product would cease to be what it is.
Sure.
That's essentially the message here. I don't know what the reaction or response is going to be. It's obviously a lawsuit at this point.
But suing the government.
Very strange, right?
Oh,
Very strange. But I suppose what you're looking for there is for public opinion to
Yes.
be on your side.
yeah.
To where the pressure mounts and the government backs down because people are saying, yeah, why does my government need this access into my private conversations? That said, to just fully encompass the proposition from the government, they're not saying they want to do this in all cases. They're saying that if some sort of violation has taken place, if there's some sort of criminal activity, they're saying that in these very specific cases that they would want to utilize this power. That's the way it stands right now. So anyway, it definitely doesn't look like WhatsApp's getting banned anytime soon. Instead, the conflict escalates. Got a hair in my mouth here, Will.
Oh,
I can't continue.
Otis?
I can't continue like this. I apologize. You have to put edit.
Beard hair?
No, it's more Otis.
Oh, yeah. I get that every day.
But how did
I
it?
don't even feel it anymore.
But how did it float up and in there?
It does. It somehow just does.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Here's a somewhat quiet one that has potentially significant implications. Google has been working on this operating system, an all-new operating system called Fuchsia, which it was completely off my radar. I think they talked about it like 3 years ago. It was set to debut on the Google Nest Hub, and it just happened. They've been working for a really long time, and it just happened. They debuted it, but really quietly. They didn't talk about it at Google I/O, and the reason it's a big deal is because it may not forever be destined just for these type of products. It could make its way onto a phone. It could become
The singularity.
some Android alternative.
Yeah.
Or replacement. I don't know. And it's really strange how quiet it's been kept. You know, like, I don't know if that means good things for it or bad. Like, do you keep it really quiet because you have super high hopes and you don't want it to be analyzed too extensively in its current state? So you do this kind of soft rollout where you put it on a device that not many people are paying attention to, less critical than something like a phone. So you throw it on the Nest Hub. Maybe. So it is different in some key ways compared to certain other operating systems. I believe, let me just do a quick. Yeah, so Fuchsia is something very rare in the world of tech. It's a built from scratch operating system that isn't based on Linux. It uses a microkernel called Zircon that Google developed in-house. Creating an operating system entirely from scratch and bringing it all the way to production sounds like a difficult task, but Google managed to do exactly that over the past 6 years. Fuchsia's primary app development language is Flutter, a cross-platform UI toolkit from Google. Flutter runs on Android, iOS, and the web. So writing Flutter apps today for existing platforms means you're also writing Fuchsia apps for tomorrow.
Huh.
Whoa. So, as I said, this is kind of a unique situation in the software world, what they happen to be doing. Obviously, Google, tremendously important and influential software company. The potential here is quite massive, even though we're looking at something that currently only exists in a Nest Hub. And it's like a really rudimentary, stripped down looking operating system if you were to compare it to something like Android. But what's really important is what's on the back end and the fact that it's not Linux based at all, which is pretty much what everything else happens to be.
Huh.
It'll be the first test of Fuchsia's future-facing Flutter app support, this particular device. Google can take the existing interface, rip out all the Google Cast guts underneath, and plop the exact same interface code down on top of Fuchsia. Google watchers have long speculated that it was in the plan all along. Rather than having a disruptive OS switch, Google could just get coders to write in Flutter, and then it could seamlessly swap out operating systems. What do you think, Will? Is Flutter and Fuchsia the future?
And Zircon?
Flutter, Fuchsia, future.
Yeah, if they can do it right, and make it accessible to other developers that would want to develop for this, yeah, why not?
It's wild. You get to a point where you become so comfortable with the pre-existing software that is out there. Like, my whole life exists in basically Chrome, Android, iOS, Mac OS, and Windows. Like, that's it. That's all the things. That's it. Everything happens in those places for me.
Yeah.
And then you add another name and you're like, oh, wait, could there be something else? Could there be an all new thing, an all new piece of software, platform, etc.?
Yeah, it's backed by Google as well. Yeah. I mean, it's all about accessibility. I mean, this looks like Android, but I'm sure in the back end there's completely different code. I think it would be accessibility with new developers.
Now, this writer, Ron Amadeo on Ars Technica, mentioned something important. Moving the OS to smartphones and laptops would be tough because the Fuchsia team would then butt up against the Android team and the Chrome OS team. And so it'd be like, who's got the right thing going on? So maybe for now it's a more niche rollout just onto certain smaller footprint products. But it's interesting. It makes me want to take another look at the Nest Hub. Just poke around a little bit.
Sure.
Amazon has completed its deal to buy MGM for $8.45 billion. This is Amazon's biggest entertainment acquisition yet. What is interesting here is that content, it represents a very small portion of Amazon's business. Like, if Netflix were to do this or any of the other content players, you'd be like, damn, that's a big commitment. But Amazon, you're like, man, what can really happen to Amazon? They feel like an absolute
juggernaut,
monster in space. Like, they got so much going on that you're like, $8.5 billion. It's quick too. It's just a quick way to pad the inventory, the library, without the need. Like, it's a time thing, sort of. You're up against, in the streaming space, you're up against the likes of somebody like Disney, who has this tremendous inventory. Now, you're Amazon, you'd be like, well, people really like originals. And even with unlimited money, you're still up against time. How quickly can you produce and take risks on new projects that take years to develop when you could take existing properties that have baked-in audiences and success, and you can just throw them on the platform and say, oh, you're going to get them exclusively here?
Yeah. It's only $8.5 billion.
I mean, it's still a lot of money. Yeah. No,
you get James Bond.
It's all relative, man. So they got around 4,000 films and 17,000 hours of TV. And I'm sure that's exactly how they looked at it. They got James Bond, the Rocky franchises, some recent TV stuff, The Handmaid's Tale and Vikings. We talked about the speculation around this previously, but now it's official. The Voice and Shark Tank are also in there. Amazon says the acquisition will provide customers with greater access to MGM's works and empower the studio to continue its great storytelling. So that's another thing. You acquire the entire company, you still put them to work. You say, oh, all these originals we want to develop, now we got this big team that knows how to develop things quickly, and we can task them with continuing to provide exclusive content for our platforms. And like I said to you, the last time we talked about this, if you got a company like MGM sitting there doing big budget releases, whether it's the James Bond movies or otherwise, you could work the similar HBO Max situation where you could have the same day release for a movie in theaters and on Amazon, but only for Prime customers. It's a powerful move. Here's another one that I just had to select because the headline was just too enticing for me. They got me. Heavy.com got me.
Uh-oh.
Joe Rogan responds to Prince Harry. Like, I just love it, man. Prince Harry and Joe Rogan, I would love to see it. I would love to see it because it's just two completely different worlds colliding. I was surprised to find out that Prince Harry had made comments about Joe Rogan in general.
Oh, really?
That just seemed like, I don't know. I don't like, is there even crossover there? But anyway, he did. Apparently he was on a podcast with, I got to find it now. Which podcast was he on?
Dax Shepard.
There you go.
Armchair Expert.
Dax Shepard, Armchair Expert. He's on the podcast, and he just basically, I mean, he said similar things to what others have said regarding Rogan's comments on vaccines recently. And his point was kind of the point that everybody makes or is commonly made, which is, hey, when you have a platform, you have a responsibility, right? Those were the comments that he sort of made. But he brought up his name, and Rogan's name has kind of become representative of something more than any one person. It like represents for some people, a way of thinking, or that you belong to a club. Like, I've been seeing the memes on social media that's like, where it will be somebody who would post, I met the perfect guy. I met the perfect guy on a first date, and then he told me he loves Joe Rogan. So that relationship is over now. And you're like, whoa, that's pretty strict rules you have there. But anyway, it's just become kind of a meme. And it's also, he's also continued to elevate, for whatever reason, as a concept up in this list of things that people are interested in, as a theme almost. And so when Heavy posts about it and I click on it, or when I post about it and now you click on it when you're watching this, that's just the current status. That's the way that it goes. We're interested to know. And even Prince Harry is interested enough to talk about it. But his take was, you've got a platform, you've got a responsibility. We have people going out there and forming their opinions based on what you're saying, and therefore you're having an effect on the community. And it's it's a valid point. However, you need to also go look at the other side, which is the fact that people have legitimate concerns. People want to watch and interact with content that feels real, feels like they're talking to a human and not to a public relations firm, not to a politician, not to a prince in certain circumstances, where everything is measured. And for the record, I consider it, because you and I, we come here and we talk, I personally love the challenge of attempting to measure and pace and go and this and that. But I don't ever want to do it at the extent of not being able to have a human conversation. And it's one of the risk factors that comes along with human conversation is vulnerability. You want to walk out on a limb, you can fall off the limb. You can make mistakes. Sure. You know, it's a risky thing, but it's also an exciting thing to partake in. And it's one of the reasons that if you get around with pals, it's a comforting thing to know, okay, we can approach maybe controversial subject matter and still, in the end of it, recognize that it's not going to end our relationships here. And people have substituted some of those personal relationships with, especially during pandemic times, with these platforms, that they become representative of that.
Yes.
So do I feel that there should, in some circumstances, be disclaimers and all the rest of it? Sure. But we also have to recognize that it comes at the expense of intimacy. It comes at the expense of feeling like you're really a fly on the wall in a real conversation, because regular humans don't put disclaimers on every single thing that they say. Not an expert, not financial advice. I am not a doctor. I mean, that's all we'd be saying if we were doing something like that in personal life. However, I do feel that if you didn't phrase something in the best way you could have, I do feel you backtrack and you freshen it up. You come out and you say, I found a better way to phrase what I was doing, what I was going for there. Yeah. I stepped on a couple little landmines. I poked my toe. I stubbed my toe. As far as the conversation was concerned.
After, 90 or like 2 hours of talking.
Yes.
Nonstop. I mean, there's going to be mistakes.
Well, you can speak to it.
I can definitely speak to it.
You can speak to it. So anyway,
it happens.
Anyway, Prince Harry said that he needs to be more responsible. He sort of tackled him a little bit on the vaccine comments. And then Rogan came back and responded and basically said, nah, I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure it ain't no No big deal. Harry would be fine if I met. Here's a quote. Harry would be fine if I met him. Harry's just talking from afar. He doesn't know me, and he's lived as a royal. If Harry and I hung together, I could get him to relax. Just relax. It might take a little while. It might take a little time, but he's not a bad guy. He's just a guy. I mean, that doesn't really tell you very much, but in this entire podcast where Rogan responded, he was basically saying, like, look, I've become comfortable with the criticism. This thing has grown so much that, like, it's just part of the game. It's part of the clicks. It's part of the environment. It's part of the fabric of the operation of the internet, you know, that you can become a theme. You can become a target, and you're going to get criticism. It's part of the gig. And he does seem, in some of the quotes, he does seem pretty comfortable with it. But anyway, my thing is, now that we have this dialogue, it's about time we get to Prince Harry on the podcast, on Rogan's podcast. And they can sort through it. They can have a wonderful conversation. What do you think? You think it's an open invitation or what?
Yeah, definitely.
For sure, on Rogan's side it is.
Yeah.
Get the Prince over there. But the Prince, it seems, he's only wants to talk to Oprah at the moment.
Well, he just did that Dax.
Oh, yeah, you're
podcast,
right. Okay,
right?
yeah, you're right. He did that.
He's starting.
So he's doing more content. Let's get the Prince on there for 3 hours, and we'll see what happens in Austin, Texas. I don't know.
Yeah.
He can go in there and lambast him and talk about vaccines, and
then we'll talk about it. It's going to be on Heavy again.
And it gets on Heavy, and then we get a clip out of it, and it's a wonderful little ecosystem of interest.
Sure.
I think they should probably have a little bit of whiskey to soften things up, though.
Yeah,
I don't know.
not?
I mean, just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Nothing
I
life-changing.
totally agree.
Just a tiny bit. And he'd be like, are you a guy? And then he looks across. He goes, I'm a guy. Are you a guy? And they go, we're a couple guys.
They high five and, you know.
We're a couple guys. Have you
great.
screwed up before? Absolutely. How about you? You screwed up all the time. Mm-hmm. Okay, sick. Are we pals now? Absolutely. Let's go play rugby. I don't know if
rugby.
I don't know what Prince Harry played. I think it might have been rugby. I'm just trying to recollect now. Royal. What would a royal do? I don't know. Yeah. I might be wrong about that. Don't. Anyway, couple of pals. That's what they're going to be.
Sure.
Kelly Clarkson is taking over Ellen's daytime TV slot. Kelly Clarkson is the new Ellen. So Ellen booked it. Stuff happened over COVID. People said she was mean. Nobody was watching the stuff. The ratings were dipping because I guess daytime TV just didn't work over COVID, or everyone figured out the internet. I don't know what happened. But both Kelly Clarkson and Ellen had their ratings fall over that period. I didn't even know Kelly Clarkson had a daytime show, but she had one for a couple of years.
Oh.
The Kelly Clarkson Show. And apparently they had considered her to take over this role even before all the stuff went down. Just like, hey, if Ellen leaves, we need to have a backup plan here.
So Kelly Clarkson's known for being the first American Idol.
Yeah, but then she did others. I mean, she did records, and she was on The Voice as a judge, I think, or one of those shows as well.
Okay.
Maybe she was on American Idol, actually, after the fact, as a judge. I don't remember. But yeah, she had a few hit records. Come on, Will.
Okay. I was just making sure.
Yeah. Well, she got a show now on NBC, and they're like, well, someone got to take the Ellen spot, so it's going to be her. My thing is, it's hard right now with the format as a whole. The daytime talk show, COVID times, I don't know what it is. Can you turn it around? Can any host turn it around, or is the world moving in a different way?
Yeah, I heard Conan is quitting as well.
Oh, is that right?
He's leaving, yeah.
That's news to me.
Yeah.
It's hard, man. And you saw all these other shows had to go online temporarily. The late night was suffering. It's like somehow COVID accelerated. Maybe they need the live audience, or because they weren't in studio. It's weird. It made everyone reconsider their content habits for some reason, this COVID situation.
But people still like to watch it in the background. Like there's still an audience for it. It's just maybe not as big on TV anymore.
Yeah. Or there has to be some embrace of the online component that they had to figure out a way to interact. Because there was a while where late night would have some viral clips and stuff, but then COVID screwed it up because they had to be doing their interviews remotely. And so they would have a celebrity, but it would be remote. And it's there's some kind of interface problem there that it's just not fluid enough. But anyway, good luck to Kelly Clarkson. I mean, Ellen did that thing for like 20 years or whatever, 19 seasons.
Yeah.
I guess that's a tough role to follow. I don't know if you saw this one, Will. This is it's called Little Island. It's over there in Manhattan, and it just opened up to the public. This is a huge project, $260 million park, and it's built on top of the river, actually. And it's quite it's a feat of engineering, the way they have these concrete tulip-like structures supporting this man-made island with a couple of different entrances, all kinds of different heights to it to give it the feeling of being a little more rich, a little more interesting as you go up the elevation and through the paths. I just became interested in this. I saw the headline, and then I ended up watching an interview with Barry Diller. He's like a billionaire type who actually funded the thing along with his wife, and just basically donated it. And also donated the money. It took 5 years to build. Also donated the money for maintenance for it for the next 10 years because it's going to cost the city money to run it. But it's a kind of cool little social space, natural feeling social space with some man-made artistic components in it. So it's an interesting mesh to it, but definitely something I would check out if I happen to be in Manhattan sometime soon. I don't know when the next time is going to be. So it's not huge compared to some of the parks that are over there. I think it is a couple of acres, 2.4 acres. They have to limit the number of people that can visit at any one given time, at least for the time being. I don't know what it is. It's like around, I don't even think it's actually 1,000. I think it's maybe like a few hundred, maybe like 600-700 people. I'm going to get that wrong. Oh, yeah. Initially, they'll be capping attendance of the island to about 800 people. I think that's where they're at right now. They're doing timed entry for noon until 8 p.m. every day to keep everybody safe and to not have overcrowding. I don't know if that's still a COVID thing or they can have more people later. They also built in a little amphitheater over there. They can have live events.
Yeah.
Actually have tickets and live performances, and the backdrop is just the water, which is pretty cool. So I don't know. What do you think about this island?
Couple food stalls here too. I think it's really cool. They've managed to use the space like creatively. Like there's under passages, there's a little bit of grass and green, and the amphitheater. Nice views off to the corners there.
You would visit a place like this. This was in Toronto. You go check that out, no?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you go check that
Be
out.
a good date night or something.
I do need to let you know there are a couple of restrictions.
Uh-oh.
You're not going to be able to bring your dog over there.
No?
It's a dog-free zone. It's also a bike-free zone. So you just got to bring your person. Just bring yourself.
I see.
And I suppose that has something to do with the size constraints and just whatever the vibe they're going for.
Well, all right.
Well, relax, man.
No, it's cool.
You can go check it out anyway.
I'll check it out begrudgingly.
No dogs allowed. I mean, there's a lot of places no dogs allowed, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
Look at that. The little... Is that real wood?
Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. They put a lot of effort and energy. This is a cool little thing.
Yeah.
All right, last one of the day. Here we have a video of bees working together to open a Fanta bottle. It's gotten millions of views. Play the shortest clip you can possibly play because it's been licensed by Viral Hog, and that whole thing is a nightmare.
Oh, man.
That's my night. That's what I wake up in the middle of the night. Notice from Viral Hog. I wake up in a cold sweat.
Well, let's just go through this Ford ad first.
The Ford ad is fine. They don't care. They're like, yeah, cool, free Ford ad. Shout out to Ford. Bigger displays, the new Lightning, 2021, wireless Apple CarPlay. Shout out to Ford, man.
This is the new one. Not the Lightning.
No, not the Lightning. It's the new hybrid model. So it's a little bit of both, but yeah, I had Ford trucks over the years. You know this. Yeah. Anyway, so you have two bees, and people are like, look how smart these bees are. We got to watch this millions of times. And basically what happens is these play a tiny section right here, Will. Play it. Just go crazy. There. Apparently,
look at that.
These two bees work together to unscrew the top of the Fanta bottle.
Get that sweet, sweet nectar.
One of them is moving one direction, on one side of the bottle, like pushing with its head. The thing is already partially off, and the other one is helping on its end to push the same way until the thing comes off. Now, somebody must give them a head start, depending, how this thing couldn't be fully tightened on here. So I'm a bit curious about that. They're filming it. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like somebody's been training these bees over here. These aren't regular bees.
Yeah.
Or did they just film it long enough for the thing to fall off? I don't know if there's any trickery involved. But the fact of the matter is, you can watch the clip and see that something the bees did definitely cleared the lid of the Fanta bottle. You can watch as they work in tandem and the thing comes loose. So you take it for whatever it is, however you want to perceive it. But maybe bees know something you don't. Maybe bees are coming for your Fanta.
Yeah.